Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall, Psychic, all the way from the Gold Coast. I hope wherever you are in this amazing planet of ours that you've had an absolutely awesome week. I know that not everything can always be positive and upbeat, and I know people have life and life gets in the road and weather events, and then there's all the silly politicians around the world who sort of want to get up there and spruik on their soapbox daily, or every hour it seems like, on the telly and other devices. So it's sort of sometimes like, I think we just need to remain positive. We need to be the ones that make our own world a little bit of a brighter place. So this week, the Simply Tarot card of the week is the Emperor. And this is the card of stability or stabilizing influences coming into your life. Now, for many of us, that's going to be sort of like a breath of fresh air, particularly seen as we've had such a difficult 2 or 3 years when you look at COVID and you look at weather events and you look at all the changes of governments and around the world, and then the war in Ukraine, and the list goes on and on and on. And this is a nice card to have coming out now, that it says that we're going to have much more stability, a stabilizing influence coming into our life now, which is a good thing. And I think for many of us, it's like, oh, good, I can exhale now. I've been sort of almost literally holding my breath for a long time, waiting for things to improve. I'm not saying it's a magic wand and it's going to fix all the world's problems or get the oil price down so that the food prices can come down and we can all live a little bit easier. But just in our own personal lives, we may be able to find some sort of stability. We might be able to find some sort of middle ground there where we can just have a little bit of respite and start to make some plans for the future. Because as we know, the year is just flying by. Here we are all, halfway through October, and, before we know it, it'll be Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then New Year. So, the year has certainly sort of flown. So for those of you that regularly watch the show, the next part of the show is my astrology segment. I've been working with astrology well over 40 years now, and what I like about astrology is it's a science. It's not guesswork. It's not somebody sitting there in the hairdresser's chair sort of dreaming up what they're going to tell the signs for the next week or whatever the case may be. How I work is I don't particularly pick out a particular sign. I'm not giving the 12 sign breakdown for the next week. What I'm doing is giving a general overview that will affect each and every star sign, unless I specifically state that it's your sign that's going to be more affected by it or the intensity is going to be more. This is for everyone. And that's a question I get asked quite often in my inbox. Well, did you really mean it for me? I'm a such and such and my partner's a such and such. It applies to each and every one of us. So this week we're going to kick off with the Sun's in Libra. Now, the Sun's in Libra and is holding hands with planet Venus of love and affection. Now, when we say they're holding hands, it's called conjunct. It means they're sitting side by side. They're within 7-degree radius of each other, so they're very, very close. So when we've got the Venus conjunct Sun like this, it's a time when I think we can sort of all start to sort of be a little bit more positive. I tend to look at this as we can all put our rose-coloured glasses on. We can sort of look at things through childlike eyes for the moment, fairy floss pink, make everything really loving and very gentle and very kind. And that's not a bad thing, because I think we've had so much to deal with over a long period of time. It'd be nice to just have a little bit of a reprieve where we can be a little bit childlike and look at through things through fantasy eyes, even if it's only for a brief second. We have those two planets that are conjunct or holding hands and making a really, really lovely aspect to Mars, the planet of action, which is sitting in Gemini. So what this means is that there is going to be some ramping up of things in our lives, hopefully things that put a smile on our face. Now, when we talk about Venus, the planet of love and affection, it doesn't always mean we're going to start a new love affair. It can mean the things that put a smile on our face, the things that are dear to our heart, the things that make us feel all, pink and mushy and glowy and really happy inside. So there's lots of opportunities at the moment. If you're starting to look at a new enterprise, or you're looking to start a new business or start something that makes your heart sing, it might be painting, or might be taking up web design, might just be jewelry making, it might just be, allowing yourself a little bit of downtime to watch your favourite movie or listen to your favourite music. So it's a time where I think we need to bring a little bit more loving energy into our lives, but it's also a great time if you need to get creative or you're looking to start something new. As long as you're passionate about it, it will certainly flow a lot easier in the next couple of weeks. So, be aware of that. Doesn't matter what your star sign is. If you're looking to start a new project, now's the perfect time, but make sure you're passionate about it. Don't do something because you feel obligated to do it, because it won't flow quite as easily. When you put your heart into something, it flows so much better. Now, we have a number of planets going retrograde, or what's considered backwards at the moment in the zodiac. And I'm going to talk about those today because it's something that I quite often get asked, what does this mean, Amanda? How can a planet be going backwards? If you've ever seen the motion of supposedly two trains passing each other, it sort of feels as if one's going backwards, even though it's not really, but that's how we perceive it. Well, that's the best way I can describe a retrograde planet in the zodiac. When a planet's retrograde, it usually is anything from 2 to 3 weeks to it can be a number of months or even years. It doesn't mean the planet's energy has got any less energy. It just means that you need to refocus, that you need to be more attentive, be more aware of what the planet is asking of you and making sure that you don't miss this golden opportunity. So Jupiter's been sitting in the energy of Aries for the last 8 or 9 months. Jupiter is currently retrograde at the moment and will be till the early part of November. Now, what this means, particularly for Aries, is even though you've been trying to start new projects and you've got them well underway, you still may be feeling as if there's a little bit of a delay or a little bit of a hiccup there, or it's like, oh, I'm running out of puff a little bit, maybe this is not right. It's not the time to give up. What it is the time to make sure that all the progress, all the hard work that you've done on the projects is really sort of all up to scratch. Make sure that you haven't missed anything. Take this time to go back and revise it, to look at it, to make sure that there's nothing that we've missed, and get ready for it to sort of take a flying leap forward in the next couple of weeks, where once the planet starts to go direct again, I think everything's going to move into top gear then. So it's like your little bit of time to have a little bit of a breather, catch your breath, and, have a little tiny bit of rest and just revise everything and make sure everything's to your liking. Not every single Aries on the planet will be starting something new, but for a lot of you, it's been about reorganizing your life and looking at what's important to you. I've known many people that have sort of said to me that, they've done a completely 360 in their lives and gone a completely different direction in this 2022 that are Aries. And they've said, they never, at the beginning of the year, if someone had mentioned that, they would have told them they were mad. Now, all of a sudden, it's the most pressing journey in their lives, and it feels so right, and they're so calm, and that's a good thing. So it will also be following or flowing on to the other two fire signs, Leo and Sagittarius. It will have a slight effect on the remaining 9 signs, but nowhere near as intense as it is for Aries. The next planet I'm going to talk about going retrograde is Uranus. Now, Uranus is the planet of the unusual or the unexpected. Uranus spends a fair bit of its time going retrograde. It is currently retrograde at the moment until January 23. So when Uranus is retrograde, it means that the intensity or the suddenness of things may be a little bit slower. I always relate with Uranus to like a bolt of lightning. Something can strike out of nowhere, things that we weren't expecting. Uranus's role is to clear the garbage out of our lives, is to make things move along at lightning pace. It's to give us new, different ways of looking at situations, handling crises, or just moving the blockages out of our lives. Now, Uranus has been sitting in Taurus now for some time. Now, Taurus is an earth sign. It's a sign that governs all the things that are personally important to us, like our personal belief systems, our money. It can make us quite stubborn at times, and this doesn't matter what sign you are. Yes, if you're a Taurus, you're going to be more affected by it. But Uranus is actually conjunct or holding hands with what's known as the moon's north node. Now, the north node isn't actually a planet or a luminary. What it is part of the Arabian parts that shows us the way forward. So Uranus is trying to create openings or opportunities, if we're listening and we're paying attention, that will show each and every one of us the way forward. It'll get us through the maze of life, the things that maybe have been troubling us, that have had us weighed down. It's asking us to look at our own personal finances, look at what we're responsible for, what we can trim back, what we can budget for, or where we can make our money work better for us. But probably more importantly, it's asking us to look at the things that are important in our lives. And Uranus has been sitting in Taurus now since before the pandemic began. So it's interesting to see how a lot of people have made different life choices during and because of the pandemic, where a lot of people relocated and moved back to places that were familiar to them with the ability to be able to work from home, things like that. And all of a sudden, family and friends became the number one priority, became more important than chasing the almighty dollar. So it's interesting to see the way people have really embraced what Uranus has been trying to get each and every one of us to do, is to look at where our lives are going. So just be aware, it could be a sort of a little bit of a bumpy ride between now and January. One minute you might think you have everything worked out, and then all of a sudden everything comes to a standstill. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means just go with the flow, don't swim against the tide, and just wait for the next burst of energy coming from Uranus where things will flow a lot faster. We also have Jupiter. We've covered Jupiter, I beg your pardon. We've also got Saturn, the planet of discipline, has been sitting in Aquarius now for over 12 months. Now, Saturn, I'll keep going to call him Jupiter. Saturn is also retrograde, will be retrograde again until January 23. Both Uranus and Saturn are going to go retrograde at approximately the same time. It'll be in that second week of January 23. When we have the planet of discipline going retrograde, it doesn't necessarily mean that we can throw all our morals and our discipline out the window. What it means is it's slowing things up just marginally. So again, we can take stock of things. We can start to look at things. We can catch our breath a little bit. Uranus is the taskmaster. Uranus is the one that gives us the ability to commence new projects and have the ability to see them through to the bitter end. It's a planet that sort of sometimes can seem to be hobbling us. I don't think of it necessarily as hobbling us. I just feel it sometimes asks us to look at things in a maybe more determined manner. What we need to do is make sure that if we're on a path, that we are on the right path. Sometimes by slowing things down a little bit, we have that time to sort of reassess the situation and make sure that we are actually on the right path, and that we can go in the direction that we need to be going. So, I know for me personally, Saturn's very strong in my astrology chart, and I used to wonder why everything that I attempted to do, I had to work 2, 3, 4 times as hard as the next person to get the same results. And I used to get very frustrated by it. But once I took up astrology and understood that that was my greatest strength, that it enabled me to not be the typical Sag and run out the door at 100 miles an hour and just go hell for leather and then think, oh, hang on a minute, I missed some of the vital details. It actually gave me that discipline, or hobbled me enough to make me slow down enough to make sure that I was looking at very carefully at what was in front of me and to gain the maximum out of what I was doing. So if we can all look at Saturn doing that for us at the moment, yes, Saturn's asking us to think outside the square. He's asking us to find innovative new ways of dealing with things and issues in our lives, but he's also asking us to make sure that this is what we want. Just because it was a great idea 6 months ago and we're all gung-ho and excited and ready to jump on the merry-go-round doesn't mean maybe it's quite that way now. Maybe we need to revise how we're looking at our projects moving forward, but there certainly will still be some light bulb moments for many of us, that it's a time where we can really have lots of different opportunities coming towards us, so don't waste them. We're going to talk with Kathy in Livingston in California. Are you there, Kathy?
Hi, how are you today?
Very well, thank you, sweetie. How can I help you?
Well, you offered a reading, and I would
Yes.
like to hear a love reading, if at all possible.
Yes, sure, Kathy. Do you have anybody in particular that you'd like me to look into? And if so, just their first initial would be nice.
Yes, I do. What should I tell you?
Just give me their first initial and I'll do the rest.
Okay, the first initial is C as in cat.
Okay, great. All right. It's really, really interesting because what I feel around this person is there's been a number of endings, changes and transformations in their personal life. And I don't mean with the relationship with you, but I mean other areas around them, sort of like maybe there's been some changes on the job or changes with friendships or even potentially a change of residence. And it's like everything has sort of been swirling around and it's like they just want to catch their breath. When I ask them about you and where the situation's going, they have a beautiful smile on their face. So that to me indicates that you're both on the same page. I just don't feel that this relationship, Kathy, yet has had enough time to be able to blossom. Is that how you feel? It hasn't had time to get enough traction yet?
Exactly. It hasn't started. I mean, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, but it will. And I just want you to be patient a little bit more. They feel exactly about you as you feel about them. There's certainly definitely an attraction there. It's just that their life has got in the road and they've had to sort through those sort of things so that then when the relationship does sort of kick into high gear, that they'll have the time to be able to devote to the new relationship. I mean, when you start a new relationship, it's really, really important, I think, that you have the time to dedicate to each other and, to enjoy that first part of romance where everything's so sparkly and exciting and, you can't think and you can't sleep and you just want to be with them. You want to enjoy that. You don't want it sort of watered down by, oh my goodness, the job's giving me the irrits and, my brother's sick and all these different things. Do you know what I mean? You want it to have a clear run. So from what I'm feeling here, Kathy, is that this relationship will sort of start to move into high gear in the next month. So I think get ready for a really busy holiday season. I think you're going to have loads of fun.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I haven't heard from him. He's never texted me until today.
Right. Well, that's good, though. That means he's thinking about you. But I went into his soul and he told me that there was definitely a connection there and he was very, very excited about it. So I just think,
Oh, yeah, I could see it. I could see it, yes.
Yeah, so just, he'll have a lot of things that he'll tell you about of the things that have been going on in his life, and that's the reasons why he didn't reach out. Because he didn't want to reach out and then sort of pull away, and then, that doesn't look good either. He had to take the chance that you'd still be there and still available when his life settled down. So I wish you every happiness, Kathy. It's going to be a great relationship. That's where we're going to leave Kathy now. We're going to talk with Pinoy in Aurora in Colorado. Are you there, Pinoy? Hi, Penny. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
How are
I'm
you?
sorry if I pronounced your name wrong.
It's Penny.
It's Penny. Sorry. Yeah, I called you Penoy. Yeah, so Penny, how can I
I've
help
been
you,
called
sweetie?
worse.
No, I'm sure you have. Do you have a question I can answer for you, Penny?
I'm just a little concerned about my health. I got some big tests coming up tomorrow, and I don't know if you have any feelings or intuitions about that.
Okay, technically by law around the world, we can't discuss health issues because I'm not a qualified doctor. But what I can do is tell you on an energetic level what I'm picking up. And what I'm picking up is energetically, you've got nothing to worry about. I mean, yes, of course, you're going to worry until you get the results and, you find out what's causing the things that are causing you to be concerned about your health. But basically what they're showing me is that this can be easily fixed, that, we can manage this. They were using the word fixed. So to me, if it was going to be an ongoing condition where we would need to manage it, I don't feel they would have given me the word fixed. Does that apply to what you think could happen?
I don't know. I mean, I have leukemia, so I'm just,
Oh, I'm sorry to
I
hear
get
that.
a lot of anxiety. I'm in remission right now, but I get a lot of anxiety every time I have to go in for a blood test, But I'm also, very thankful for each and every day that I, have. But do you have any, are you medium also?
I am. It just depends if they want to come through with the very limited time that we've got here. When I went in and sort of asked what you were to be expecting, the other side came through with the word fixed. Now, that's what made me sort of feel that, whatever was going to be the tests that are going to be done over the next few days or the next week, there seemed to be some positive news coming out of that. So, I take notice of the types of words that they give me. as to sort of how things are going to unfold. I mean, we all know that there's no cure for leukemia. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing if there was? But if they can stabilise you enough that you can have a quality of life and to sort of, you know, take the edge off a little bit and you not to be so anxious, I think that would be amazing, that, you know, you could get on and enjoy your life. Yeah, and that's why I think they use the word fixed and not as, you know, we're going to manage the condition. I think there's going to be some good news there. It's not going to be a cure, but it certainly is going to be better than what you've been facing. So that's a good thing. There's an older woman in spirit that's around you very strongly. Is that your grandmother?
Probably, yes.
Yeah, but she's a woman that, she hasn't spoken to me. I've just got this woman that's got sort of quite a stern look on her face, as if, you know, she only had to look at somebody and you knew you'd done the wrong thing, but yet she had a heart of gold.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but she could frighten people with that particular look. Oh, boy. You didn't want to get the look.
I have that same look.
Yes, I know you do, because she's telling me she's how proud it is that you've got it. But I also feel that she's with you every step of the way. So when you feel that you can't cope or things are a bit too hard, just have a little chat with her, even if it's in your mind, and just ask her to help you along, because she's there every step of the way. And she keeps telling me she's not ready for you yet.
Oh, well, I'm glad about that.
Yes. Yeah. So she, you know, she was very definite on that, but she's very, very proud of you. I don't think she could be more proud of you. She sort of looks to you as almost being like a daughter, not so much a granddaughter. She just keeps telling me you're just so much like her.
Well, that's
a
positive.
Absolutely, it's a positive. And, you know, like I said, that look, but, you know, she had a heart of gold and there isn't anything she wouldn't have done for anybody. She keeps showing me, I don't know whether it means a move of residence or whether it's a place that you always felt secure, but I've got a small house.
Yes.
That's all she showed me, was like a small house. And I don't believe it was a doll's house. I felt it was sort of more like, English would describe it as a cottage. I don't know what you describe it as in the US, but to me it's a small house. It's not a big place. It might only be 2 bedrooms. She keeps showing me this, but I don't know what she meant by that. I don't know whether she meant
her home.
Right, that's what it is.
My grandmother lived across the way from us.
Right,
so
okay, that's why she's showing.
She was showing you. Great memories.
That's what. Right, okay. Well, she kept showing me this picture of this house, and it was like, I didn't know how to interpret that, but it was right behind when she was saying to me that if you need strength, just talk to her, call on her, and then there was the flash of the house. So, okay, that makes sense then. That was her house. And she wants you to know that, you know, that's just her symbol, I suppose, of proving to you who she, you know, that I was connecting with her. So, but she's such a lovely lady. She keeps showing me all these like fireworks going off around you. And I just always associate fireworks with celebration. So I can't see it any other way, but she's got like gold shooting stars and things like that going across in front of my eyes to sort of say that you're coming into a much, much better period in your life. So I think, you know, I just feel your health's going to be, I'm not going to say it's going to always be less of a concern, but I think it's going to be less of a concern than it has been recently. And she wants you to enjoy your life. So she really has such a soft spot for you. It's amazing. So can you get to go and drive past Grandma's house?
Oh, no, it's in another state.
Right, okay. All right. So have you got a photo of it or something like that?
I have a million pictures in my mind from it, from growing up, 18 years of it.
Okay, well, she wants you to keep visiting that in your mind. You know, tomorrow when you go for your tests and you might be feeling a little bit, you know, on edge, think of that in your mind. That'll give you the strength, knowing that she's there and she's waiting for you, you know, at the house, how she used to do when you were little.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that.
Okay, sweetie. Well, I wish you the best of luck, Penny, and I hope that things go well for you now and in the future.
Thank you so much.
That's Penny.
Bye.
You're very welcome, Penny. So it's always interesting when we get messages from the other side that, you know, as a medium, you can only share the information that you're given. It doesn't always make sense to the person that's receiving the message, to the medium it's got to relay the message to the other person. So it's interesting then to always ask the question, do you know what that means? Does that relate to you in some way? Because we are only the channel or the vessel that the information is downloaded to. It's not up to us to own it, decipher it, or try and sort it out. So next time you have a connection with a medium, understand that they don't understand everything. They're just giving you the vision, the images, the words, the feeling, or whatever that they've been given from the other side. It's up to you to put the pieces into the puzzle. So this week I want to leave you with a very, very special song. It's an old song, and it's a song that I always found great inspiration in at different times in my life. When, like everybody else, we all have ups and downs, and we all have times where certain songs sort of stick in your mind and mean something to you. But this is a particularly beautiful song, and I have a real passion for the Motown sort of music. I mean, I love lots and lots of different types of music, but I have a real passion for Motown music, and particularly Diana Ross. So I want to leave you this week with the song Ain't No Mountain High Enough. So until next week, enjoy your week, whatever you're doing, and stay safe. Bye for now.